everyone, welcome to my channel. Well, Flywoo is a company that makes some pretty innovative and cool drones. So do you remember Flywoo came out with this one? It's got 6 motors right here, and this one here only has 4 motors. Which one do I think I like better? I love this one, the 4-motor one. Why? Because you put about the same size battery on both, but since it's only got 4 motors, you get a longer flight time. So now let me tell you a little bit about the one I'm holding in my hand. Let me just say they did an outstanding job. I have a crossfire receiver in this. Yeah, a crossfire receiver is in this. So you're gonna have to put a crossfire attachment on your radio or buy a radio from Team Black Sheep to fly it. But that's how they sent it to me, and I happen to have a crossfire transmitter, so it worked out fine. It's got a digital camera in it and a digital system, so I get the greatest of video back to my DJI FPV goggles, and oh my god, it flies so great. They also sent me their little 300 milliamp hour LiPo batteries to fly on this, and if you fly the drone in this configuration with no camera, no extra weight, and this battery, you'll get about 3 minutes to 4 minutes flight time. I know a lot of you might not think that's a long time, but when you're flying a drone this small, it's a long time. They also sent me prop guards, which I don't know why. I guess it's for if you fly it indoors. You see they just attach underneath, you would screw them on. If you fly it indoors, I guess you'd put the prop guards on, but yeah, I have no use to fly it indoors. The little tiny props are so small, you just push them on. They're 40 millimeter 4-bladed props, and they're very efficient and very quiet. Now, besides cramming a digital system into this tiny drone, it's actually got an F7 flight controller. So if you're not familiar with flight controllers, if you have an F4, that's common. F7 just means like on a computer, it's a faster processor, and this one has an F7 flight controller. BSCs send power to the 5,500 kV motors, and it does move really well. Since mine is the digital configuration, I do have the Cadex Nebula Nano camera up front, this tiny little camera that sends back a digital signal to my FPV goggles, and it looks amazing, as I've already mentioned. One thing I like that's pretty cool is on the bottom they have something like a sticky pad. I remember you could buy these aftermarket. So if you put a battery and you don't even connect the strap, the battery will literally, look, it just sticks there like that. So your battery's never gonna fall off this drone, even if you forget to put the strap on. So the weight of this thing, in this configuration, this is what the drone is out of the box. Let me just power this on and tell you what the weight is out of the box. So in grams, right now it's showing me 63 grams like this. That is very, very light. So when I attach a camera on top and a battery on the bottom, I am way under 250 grams. Now, as you can imagine, this drone is so powerful that it can lift the battery underneath. You know, they gave me a 300 milliamp hour battery. They say you can go up to like a 400 milliamp hour battery. In this video, I'm actually going to fly it. In one portion of the video, you're going to see me fly it with this huge, monstrous 550 milliamp hour battery. This battery probably weighs as much as the drone. So now, speaking about external cameras, you see you have this little power supply coming off. So if you want to put a camera on the outside like a naked GoPro or an SMO 4K or the new camera by iFlight, their GoCam, you can, because you just plug this power source into the camera. So in this video, you're going to see I'm going to do some footage flying around with an SMO 4K, and I'm going to show you some video footage with the stabilization on and the stabilization off. But I have to warn you, if you attach a camera that requires power like any of the ones on the market with this little cable, it will take away from your flight time, because the battery below has to provide power to the ESCs, the motors, the flight controller, the camera, the video transmission back to you, and this camera, so you're really sucking up a lot of power. You're not going to get a long flight time. All right, so now I'm going to show you some flight footage of this here drone, and you are going to be impressed because it is so friggin' amazing due to its size and how quiet it is. Now, the first camera I tried, the very first flight, was an Insta360 Go camera. The reason I use this camera is because it has its own power supply. It will not suck power off the battery here, so I should get a long flight time of about 4 minutes, which I did. So as you see, I'm flying here. It's a dull day, and I'm having a great time flying around. I was immediately impressed at how smooth the flight is. Like, everything is well tuned on this drone. It is really amazing. You can see I took the Firefly Baby out for a flight on the exact same day that I had university students over doing work on my roof. They were cleaning the gutters and they were installing some items. One thing you'll notice is they don't even notice the drone is there until I told them. I had to yell up to them and tell them there's a drone here, because honestly they were oblivious to it because the drone is so quiet flying around the neighborhood. I can say I was honestly impressed with the speed of this drone. I thought it would be either too slow or too fast, but it's just perfect. You can slow this drone down to a crawl if you want. It is amazing for doing flights near and close to objects, or if you just want to fly up in the air and do some freestyle, it's great for that as well. So my recommendation for an external camera for this here little guy would be get yourself the Insta360 Go, because it doesn't suck any power off the drone itself, and you can get a long flight time and you get some pretty decent footage. Now for my next flight, I knew somebody was going to ask, yeah, but Steve, you always make these videos where you have stability on the cameras you put externally. Well, that's why we put external cameras, because they have stability and they keep the footage all nice and smooth. Just like DJI drones, camera drones, there's stability built in and everything to keep the image looking smooth. So that's what we do in the FPV hobby. But since I knew somebody would ask that, and since I was going, man, this drone for its size with all that weight flies smooth, I then put the Insta360 SMO 4K on it. Plunk! Look at the size of it. I put that on it. But I turned the stability off. I said, you know what, I'm going to fly this with no stability so I can see for myself how stable the image looks. So right now you can see I'm flying here. You can see that the image, you can see every tweak, any slightest movement I make on the joysticks, you can see it in the video because you'll see the drone twitch. But a lot of FPV drones will move quite a bit. This one moves so little, and I'm flying in acro mode. It is so smooth, even with the stability off. It's very impressive. So I think most people that buy this drone that don't even put a camera on it, you know, you're going to be happy with the footage you receive, or if you put a camera on it that has no stability, you're going to be happy with the footage you receive in the end due to how smooth this drone flies. Now, as mentioned, when you use a camera like this, it requires the power off the drone. So I flew that with the 300 milliamp hour battery that was provided to me by Flywoo, and yeah, flight time was just a couple of minutes. You know, it was getting low after a couple of minutes because this here camera is sucking up a lot of power. So then I took it out for a flight again, but this time in the evening. So I went back in the house, charged up my batteries, and went out and took it for an evening flight with the SMO 4K on it, and I put the stability control on so that it looks smooth when it's flying super smooth. But I made a big mistake. I thought I'll fly to the end of the road, go around my neighbor's tree and fly back. But as I was going around my neighbor's tree, I didn't realize there's a branch hanging down, and of course I hit the only branch hanging down. So that was my first crash with this little guy. No damage. So I went and picked up the drone, brought it back, put another battery on it, put the Insta360, reset it, put it on record again, and took it for a second flight. And this is the footage you're seeing here, and you can see flying with the sun low in the sky. It looks amazing. The footage is really good. I'm very impressed with the footage. You know, it looks buttery smooth flying around the sky with this tiny little drone. And the great thing is, a lot of people never noticed this drone. So then I landed my drone and I said, you know what? I'm going to put this massive size battery on this little Firefly, and I'm going to attach my little SMO 4K and see if it can fly with both. This was a 300. I'm going to use a 550. So as you can see in the video, it had no problem flying with that huge battery, had no problem with the camera on top, all that weight. It still flew the same as if when it had no camera on it. It was doing really well. I could manipulate it as I wished. The video was super smooth. I had lots of power, and I had a long flight time, almost 4 minutes of flying with that battery. That was really awesome. And more importantly, I thought with all that weight on, I'm gonna lose my ability to corner. But check this out, I'm just whipping around my Jeep, no problem. I can corner all around the Jeep as fast as I want. And this thing just keeps on going. It is really impressive. All right, next thing I want to show you is what comes in the box. At least I'm going to show you everything that Flywoo sent me. Now be aware that Flywoo sent me this, and a lot of times they send me extra stuff that's not included in everybody's box when you buy this. Some of the stuff they send me is like additional accessories you'd have to buy. Like I do not know if you get all the mounts. So they sent me a mount for an Insta360 Go, so this little yellowy green thing on top. They sent me that. They sent me the one for the SMO 4K, and they sent me one for a naked GoPro. So those all came in my box, so I had that. They also sent me the prop guards and the hardware to mount the prop guards, so that came in my box. They also sent me 2 batteries, 300 milliamp hour batteries, because they wanted me to show them off to you so that if you bought this drone, you might also order the batteries because they work perfect, they're the right weight, everything. So that came in my box. This one here that it's at 550, that's mine. I use this for a bigger drone, so I was amazed it worked on this small drone. And in the box, if you want to see the configuration of what they sent me, there's a big sticker back here, and I'm probably showing you a close-up of it now. That's the configuration of the drone they sent me with the Crossfire module. You can get this drone in analog. It's very inexpensive in analog, so it will work with every FPV goggles on the market that are analog, and you can use it with any type of radio you want. Since they put a Crossfire item in mine, I had to use a Crossfire transmitter. So let me show you. And the benefit of Crossfire, if you're not familiar with Crossfire, the reason people do that is penetration. You can fly items with Crossfire behind other objects like houses or whatever, and you'll still get a signal back for controlling the drone, or fly it far away and you'll still get a signal back. It's hard to lose your drone with Crossfire modules. So let me show you what else they sent me. I'm just going to empty this. All right. Yeah, that seems to be it. All right. So what else did they send? So it's a pile of zip tie stuff. You probably get the zip ties, and you get another battery strap. That's the GoPro mount for the naked GoPro. Spare props, you'll probably get that. You definitely will get the FLYWOO stickers. You're definitely going to get screws and hardware just in case you want to change things on your drone or things fall apart. I got a lens cap. I'm sure you get that. More hardware. Since they stuck a CADX Vista type system inside, all the metal parts for the CADX Vista system, they took them off and they stuck them in a bag right here. So if I ever wanted to put the metal parts back on, you could. That's pretty cool. That's how they made it so light. So not a lot of people have done that, but they did that. That was pretty smart of them. What else? Not much else here. No, not much else. Oh, they have something here. They sent me another little battery holder. That's about it. And of course, for their F7 flight controller, some information there. That is it. So just throw all this over there. I'm really impressed with this drone. I really like this drone. This is a keeper for sure. This is a keeper for a long time, unless they make something better. I like this one. Certainly, I like the Hex that they made previously, but the Hex, you know, for flight time, it was kind of limited because it's got 6 motors. Whereas this one, it just seems like it is perfect. And because they only made it with 4 motors, it's really good for freestyle. I didn't show you a lot of freestyle, but this thing here can just buzz around. It's just really good. So I would highly recommend this one. If it's something you want to get that's small and fly around, it's really good. The only thing I will say is if you're a beginner or a newbie and you get this drone, buy yourself extra props, because I crashed once. You remember when I hit that tree and I crashed into the ground? Well, I didn't do any damage, but when I looked at the props afterwards, I was like, I think I have some cracks in those props. So I've replaced the props already. So that's hitting a tree branch. So I'm guessing, since they're so small and they spin so fast, you can probably damage these props. So I would get yourself an extra bag of props if you order this drone. Speaking of ordering this drone, links are below to where you can find it. There may be a discount code. I have no idea. If there is a discount code, it is below, and then you can save some dollars. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have questions on this drone, just post them below and I'll get back to you. And once again, I really like this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next video. Bye.